Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Professor Ipshita Bansal from BPS Women's University, Sonipat, Haryana. Today we will be discussing about the module Linking HRM to Business Strategy of the paper Strategic Human Resource Management. By the end of this module, students will be able to understand how the human resource management can be linked to business strategies, and also they will be able to understand the various issues related to business strategy and linkages of HRM to business strategy. The basic premise of adopting and implementing the concept of strategic human resource management in organizations is that of linking decisions of business strategy with human resource management policies. While some of the personnel literature suggests that organizations should adapt particular best practice modes in each personnel area, it is increasingly accepted that optimal personnel policy choice is linked to the unique characteristics of the individual organization. Consequently, there is an argument that organizations need to achieve a fit between personnel policy choice and broader strategic considerations, particularly product market conditions and business strategy. However, various studies over the years have suggested that while some organizations appear to be successfully aligning HR policies and business strategy, this development does not seem widespread. A company's human talent provides an unrivaled competitive advantage in today's global environment. To optimize that unique ability, human resource professionals must design and foster an employee culture that directly aligns HR practices with organizational goals and actively contributes to the bottom line. The linking of HRM to business strategy program complements the advanced HR program, augmenting the core competencies of HR professionals with business acumen and skills that will both engage senior teams and earn executive level sponsorship and support. Increased integration between human resource management and business strategy is one of the most important demands that are placed upon modern strategic human resource management. In both the management and the academic literature, it is generally acknowledged that the strategic deployment and management of personnel can contribute to the success and continuity of the firm. Some go even further by stating that a firm's human resources form the basis of the firm's competitive advantage. In this view, the human resources are the most important assets of an organization. At the same time, in addition to the importance of the human resources as such, it is believed to be important that the management of the human resources should be in perfect fit with the management of the organization as a whole and its strategic plans. Let's now understand the relationship of human resource management with business strategy. Human resources are an important part of a successful business strategy. Successful business managers realize the importance of well-trained and motivated employees to achieve the company's financial goals. Successful HR departments realize the importance of keeping employees focused on the company's financial goals while providing opportunities for employee growth and advancement. Employees and management must both realize that the cooperative and not adversarial relationship is vital to a company's success. There are 4 parameters which are needed to be studied here. First, communications. Second, social trends and technology. third, developing strategies and solutions, and fourth, consequences. Communication. Let's now discuss that how the parameter of communication is important. Business managers are responsible for communicating the company's objectives, goals, and production targets to the employees in ways that make them feel that they are partners in the process and play a key role in the success of company's business strategy. HR managers are responsible for communicating employee concerns and problems to the business managers in ways that allow the managers to address the concerns and solve the problems without sacrificing productivity and profits. Let's now understand how demographics, social trends, and technology play their part. Younger workers often have a different perspective on job satisfaction than older, more traditional workers. These changes in demographics and social trends mean that business managers must be willing to adapt to changing social trends in the work environment. HR departments also have a responsibility in educating younger workers and helping them recognize their responsibility in supporting the organization's business strategy, objectives, budget requirements, and operations. As new technologies develop, training, accountability, and transparency become increasingly important management skills. Next is developing strategies and solutions. The HR department and the management team must cooperate in developing an effective program for employee training and development, performance appraisal, and employee rewards. Management development is also an important component of this process. Organizational development, employee selection and recruitment, and proper manpower planning are key components of management training. When problems arise, the HR department and the business management team must work together to find solutions that keep employees satisfied and keep the business on track to meet its financial and strategic goals. Let's now take the last parameter, that is the consequences. Business managers and the HR department must work together to design consequences for employees who do not or cannot perform their jobs satisfactorily. Labor laws, company policies, training procedures, disciplinary steps, and good business practices are all factors that must be considered as part of the company's strategic planning to establish a fair and equitable system that rewards good employees and disciplines unsatisfactory employees. Employees who see the system as inherently unfair or inequitably applied become dissatisfied employees. Managers who believe their hands are tied by a system that protects unsatisfactory employees become resentful of the workers. Neither of these attitudes is good for business. The personnel administration function of human resources has become outdated in the past 20 years. Today, human resources department have a more defined strategic role in organizations, and an HR strategy affects the bottom line. One of the challenges for HR leaders is convincing executive leadership teams that human capital is one of the most important resources in which the company can invest. This return on investment is an essential part of the argument for including HR as part of an overall business strategy. In an ideal world, there is not a line drawn in between human resource strategy and business strategy. A successful business owner realizes the strong connection between the two. Developing human capital is important to the longevity and success of a business. In the past, personnel administration was merely the processing of payroll, benefits, and applications. Human resources strategy today involves executive leadership teams conferring with human resources experts to develop complementary goals for human resources and overall business. Let's now understand the linkages between HR strategy and business productivity. The recruitment and selection process of the human resource department is paramount in building a productive workforce. Developing a human resource strategy for recruiting and selecting the best employees affects the organization's bottom line. Maintaining a workforce where employees enjoy high levels of job satisfaction and job security translates into a workforce that helps achieve business goals. According to HR experts, human capital or human resources is the most valuable resource of an organization. In a study conducted by consulting giant Towers Watson, business executives are paying close attention to a trend towards blending human resources strategy and business strategy. According to the results of a 2010 Towers Watson study, it may be said that we may be witnessing a tipping point where HR technologies become the integrated engine for advancing the broader needs of the business, supporting far more than basic transactions and advancing the HR and business agenda of the future. Human resources information systems are integral in the development of performance management, recruitment, and selection. So let's now understand the test of relationship between HR and business strategy. The real test of a relationship between human resources and overall business strategy is the quality of the interaction between human resources executives and other company executives. Many times, human resource leaders who are denied access to the boardroom complain that organizations don't appreciate the value of human capital. The way to improve the relationship between HR and C-level executives is by demonstrating the return on investment in human resource activities. This may involve explaining the connection between a reduction in employee turnover and an improvement in job satisfaction that improves the bottom line. A number of factors affect the relationship between human resources and business strategy. Executive leadership needs first to understand the benefits of aligning HR goals with overall business goals. Forward-thinking concepts may need to be approached carefully to avoid skepticism among old school executives who still consider human resources as merely personnel administration. Building the relationship may also require assistance of an HR consultant to map the strategy for effecting change in your organization. An effective HR strategy with clear links to the business strategy enables the organization to align its activities better with its human resources. An HR department that understands the demands of the business strategy can help ensure you have the right people in place to deliver on your ambitions and support growth. HR departments integrated into the senior strategic management team can work across the organization, ensuring that human resource requirements are considered equally with other organizational investments. Organizations are affected by a huge range of external and internal factors that together can change the nature of individual job roles or place new demands on individuals' skill set. An HR strategy linked to the organizational strategy is better placed to anticipate any such changes and therefore can put in place a targeted training and development plan to help the organization more quickly adapt to the new circumstances. Employees who feel better supported in their jobs tend to be happier and more productive. Furthermore, organizations with a positive reputation in the jobs market for taking care of its workforce face fewer barriers to effective recruitment. Taken together, these factors are important elements in illustrating why HR strategy must link to organizational strategy, with recruitment and retention being two key areas where monetary value can be assigned. A more stable and better trained workforce means improved operating profits. A mature approach to HR strategy places it at the center of understanding an organization's overall capacity and capability. Having a clear concept of your employees and their different skills can help you see where your organization has potential for development and growth and help you structure your organization to take advantage of emerging opportunities. Organizations that have reached this point in their development see HR as a key driver of strategy and integral to their future success, rather than as a simple administrative function that ensures everyone gets paid on time. So, how can HRM be linked to business strategy? There are some of the elucidations through which this can be done. First, recruit correctly, proper job definition, adequate goal setting, announcement of incentives, using the bench, and next, democratization. So, how to recruit correctly? That is, align people to company's goals. A good way to ensure that the right people stay with the company is to select the right people. The company can align a part of the HR's incentives to the tenure of the people they hire along with other measures. This will ensure that the HR takes that extra effort to not allow people with history of switches to get in. The company can take steps such as going away with monthly recruitment targets to an extent so that there are no mass recruitments to fulfill the assigned quotas. Job definition, that is, clearly telling people what they need to do. HR needs to know why a particular job exists, where does it fit in with the organization, what is it expected to achieve, on which areas does it affect, and the nature of those effects on the organization. In addition, the HR needs to know the skills required to effectively perform the job. Once the HR is clear on what the job entails and the skills required, they are in a better position to judge candidates that fit the job. They should communicate the job description to the candidate being interviewed so that only the people who are truly interested show up. Another aspect that HR should concentrate on is to showcase the corporate culture of the organization. If the organization believes in teamwork, the HR can mention that the incentives are measures on team productivities. Goal setting. that is, helping employees in goal setting. Managers need to help employees in setting and reaching goals. Employees want to know how their work is impacting the company objectives. Employees who do not see this linkage between their work and the larger company ambitions are prone to feel disenchanted. Managers hold critical responsibility for this, as a failure to meet these goals will have the consequences on the manager, employee, and the organization. Hence, a balanced approach towards goal setting should be followed. A manager's job is to provide supportive autonomy that's appropriate to the person's level of capability. The key is to be hands-on while giving your people the room they need to succeed on their own. It is important to make sure that the goals are attainable and challenging. A brilliant example of this was set up by Jack Welch in General Electric, where he asked his employees to set targets for themselves. They were asked to come up with plans to achieve the same and break down goals into individual tasks so that it becomes easier to review the progress. In GE, these were called stretch goals, and it helped GE increase productivity manifold. Managers also need to come out of the professional mold and try to seek what are the personal motivations of an employee. He needs to find out what are the personal goals that an employee is seeking. For example, if your employee has expressed an interest in teaching, but that is not part of his job responsibility, you may be able to find ways to sculpt his job to include opportunities to train peers or less experienced colleagues. Incentives, that is, informing employees what is important. A scorecard concentrating on the key success parameter can be implemented to motivate people to work towards a common goal. The financial incentives should be used more as a support structure rather than drivers for change. Change will need to come from the people at the trenches, and we will need some agents that will help transform people. Forming smaller teams and then linking the incentives to team productivity will help bring in accountability and with minimal freeloading. Nucor Corporation was successful in implementing a group productivity based incentive system which led to a higher productivity and a turnaround. Use the bench, that is, the bench can be productive. Most IT companies use the concept of bench. They hire more people with the intent to be ready to deploy people quickly once they sign a contract. The bench can be placed where people's creativity and initial zeal is quickly eroded, as they are typically not assigned work in the initial 6 to 8 months of employment. On the contrary, the bench can be made into a revenue center and can be effectively used by allowing people on the bench to work across departments in the company. The resources work in the R&D departments, as these are most understaffed. People with necessary skills can work on projects without billing the clients to share the workload. Democratization. One of the ways the employee democratization can be encouraged is involving the employee decision making from all levels of hierarchy before making decisions affecting the employees. These decisions can vary from very simple to organizations' decisions having moderately high complexity. One of the traits most companies lack when they grow is the nimbleness or agility. This culture can be incorporated by providing more freedom to employees in their daily operations. By freedom, we mean ability to try out innovative methods, instilling a sense of entrepreneurial instinct in the employees, which will subsequently develop more accountability in the employees. This also involves the part where the superior should accept the concept that his subordinate is more likely to the ground realities. Let us now summarize what we have discussed in this module. Increased integration between human resource management and business strategy is one of the most important demands that are placed upon modern strategic human resource management. In both the management and the academic literature, it is generally acknowledged that the strategic deployment and the management of personnel can contribute to the success and continuity of the firm. Some go even further by stating that a firm's human resources form the basis of the firm's competitive advantage. In this view, the human resources are the most important assets of an organization. At the same time, in addition to the importance of the human resources as such, it is believed to be important that the management of the human resources should be in perfect fit with the management of the organization as a whole and its strategic plans. Aligning HRM and business strategy is an important endeavor for every organization. Studies strongly support the alignment between strategies, HRM and performance, and thus show the potential role of HR managers can play in implementing strategy and developing an organization's competitive advantage. HR needs to expand beyond an administrative function and focus more on how it can support the organization in strategic planning and implementation. By increasing the competencies of HR personnel, the department will increase its credibility and be integrated into a strategic role. When HR department measures itself from a business perspective and by the value it brings to an organization, top management will not ignore it in the strategy process. Instead, top management will welcome HR input because it will have a clear understanding of how HR affects the bottom line from a business and or strategic standpoint. By interlocking HR measures with items concerning the ongoing business, HR becomes aligned with strategy through dependent tasks that are accounted for independently. In conclusion, an organization's people and their skills ultimately determine the effectiveness of HR strategic plans and its implementation. Thank you.